So the Warlock will get a lot of changes and new spells in Mr. Pandaria, and also the possibility to finally use your Ashbringer as a transmog for your Felguard. I will get back to this later in the video. The first spell I need to highlight is the Money Gateway, as it's such a big change and also something you will be using in PvP and PvE. You will be summoning a gateway you can use from destination A to B or the other way around, and this is also usable by your friendly players. In this upcoming expansion, the gateway will be usable in so many different raid encounters and also during different dungeons to either save your character's life or at least save you a bit of travel time. Be aware, when you use the gateway, there's going to be a 45 seconds window where you will not be able to go back or even use it. There's going to be a total of 5 charges to 5 people that can use the gateway, but every 10 seconds there's going to be recharged another charge. So as long as all your raid members don't use this at the same time, then it should be kept up. Else you can always spawn another one, as it only has a 10 seconds cooldown. We are also getting a new passive called Pandemic. When you refresh your periodic damage effects, the duration of the previous effect will be added to the new one up to a maximum of 50% of the base duration. Our Fel armor has been changed, as this is now also passive, so not a buff you'll need to reactivate by yourself. Yet another new spell is going to be Dark Soul, but the effect here all depends on your own specialization. Let's say you for example decide to go as Demonology, well, then you will receive a buff that increases the effect of your mastery, Master Demonologist, by an additional 30% for 20 seconds. As Affliction, this buff will increase your spell haste by 30% for 20 seconds, allowing you to cast many dots and also haunt on different targets in next to no time. Last but not least, Destruction, who will have the critical strike chance increased by 30%, an insane cooldown you can combine together with your trinkets or other important cooldowns. Like it wasn't enough, we're also getting a new buff that will reduce all your damage taken by 40% for 8 seconds, and also prevent any spells in your school from being interrupted or silenced for the duration. A new curse is also making it into the game. The target's physical damage will be reduced by 10% and their casting speed by 50%. It will be less on PvP players and of course also on dungeon and raid bosses. Some of you might remember the Warlock that ninja'd Ashbringer back in Naxxramas. This guy can finally use the weapon on the Warlock, because if you have the weapon in your inventory, well, then you can use a glyph that allow the weapon to be handed to your Felguard. Many different Warlock spells has either been removed or simply been turned into a spell you will only learn when you decide to choose a specialization. To see some of the different spells, you can open up the specialization book or even your spell book to see what you learn at different levels. We are also getting new resource bars, or well, one resource bar, but it all depends on your specialization. Let's say you go with Destruction, then you will be learning the passive Burning Embers. And these Burning Embers you can use to cast different spells, but you will also need to use other spells in order to recharge these Burning Embers, for example Incinerate or Immolate. And if these spells crit, then you will be recharging twice as much Burning Embers. You also use Burning Embers to be casting your Chaos Bolt. As Demonology, you will be getting Demonic Fury. This is a resource bar that can go all the way up to 1000, but it will automatically slowly charge up to 200. Then you will need to cast different spells, for example Corruption, to build up more Demonic Fury. Next, you could use your Metamorphosis form and be using the Demonic Fury to be casting different spells. If you go low, you simply go out of the form and start casting other spells. As Affliction, we will be having a resource bar with 4 soul shards. These will automatically be recharging, so as you're killing a target or moving from one to another one, then you will be recharging these, and the soul shards can be used to cast Haunt and some of your other spells. But don't worry, most of your spells will not require any soul shards, so you can easily dot up many targets without having to worry. On top of this, we also get a passive, where our most recent Corruption will have a 10% chance to be recharging a soul shard. In other words, it's going to be mandatory to always have an active Corruption if you wish to deal as much damage as possible. As a Demonology Warlock, you should also be looking forward to the passive Wild Imps. Every now and then you can be casting a spell, and this will summon an imp that will be shooting fireballs, but also help you regenerate Demonic Fury. Next up, the level 15 talents. First, Harvest Life, which is a passive that increases the damage you do and also the healing done by your drained life. Next up, another passive, Soul Leech. Most of your abilities will give you and your pet an absorb shield that will be absorbing a bit of the damage you just dealt. The last one, Dark Regeneration, is a 2 minutes cooldown, where you and your pet instantly restore 30% of your maximum health and also increase the healing you receive by 25% for the next 12 seconds. At level 30 we can pick Shadow Fury, a 8-yard stun that will stun all the enemies in that area for 3 seconds. Mortal Coil works just like Death Coil. It will fear the target in horror for 3 seconds and also regen 15% of your total health. The last option, Demonic Breath. This won't be dealing any damage, but all the target it hits within 10 yards will have their movement speed slowed by 50% for 6 seconds. It has a 20 seconds cooldown, so it's not like you can continue to spam this ability. At level 45 you can unlock an insane talent, Dark Bargain. For the next 8 seconds you will be completely immune to all damage, and after those 8 seconds, 50% of the damage you just prevented will be dealt as a dot. So for those of you that likes to PvP as a Warlock, you should definitely be looking forward to this, as it's gonna be completely insane in a 1 versus 1 situation. The second option isn't bad either. Your demon will sacrifice 25% of its health, and this will be turned into a shield that will absorb 400% of the damage that was just sacrificed. This shield will be placed on the Warlock. And if you don't have any demon, well, then you will just be sacrificing 25% of your own health and be turning it into a shield. For those of you that would much rather like to have a passive, Soul Link will cause 20% of the damage you are taking to be redirected to your demons. In addition to this, 3% of the damage you do will be converted into healing you and also your demon. At level 60 you can unlock a PvP trinket. Unbound Will cause 20% of your maximum health, and this will clear you from any CCs. And for those of you wondering, no, it doesn't share cooldown with your PvP trinket. Burning Rush is an ability you can toggle on and off. When you turn it on, it will drain 4% of your maximum health, but during this it will also increase your movement speed by 50%. In addition, you will not be able to drop below 100% of your normal movement speed. Blood Horror is an ability you can toggle on with a 30 seconds cooldown. It will drain 5% of your maximum health, but if a target is hitting you, they will be feared in horror for 4 seconds. Because this buff lasts for 1 minute, then you could always precast it before you're going into combat, and as the cooldown is about to go off, you could then be engaging and that way be able to fear the same target 2 times in a row. As a Warlock you can choose this talent. This means that you will be playing without a pet most of the time. You will be gaining different buffs to your abilities, reaching 2% of your maximum health every 5 seconds, and also get one of your pet's powerful abilities. No matter what specialization you're playing, then this buff will be improving some of your spells. However, if you much rather like to use your demons, then you could be going for this talent instead. You can instantly summon a demon that will be working for you for 20 seconds. It will, for example, instantly taunt if it's a Void Walker. You can also have 2 pets at the exact same time. You just need to make sure you have already summoned another one. Just remember, the pet you can summon instantly will also disappear after 20 seconds. The last talent is also going to be for your demons. In fact, it will allow you to summon even more powerful demons and change the appearance of these and the name. Their damage will be increased by 20%, but they will still have the same kind of abilities. For example, right here, this is going to be the updated Succubus. Instead of having Seduce, you will have another ability, but it will still do the exact same, CCing the target for up to 30 seconds, or unless the target is taking any damage. So in this talent section, you can either choose to increase the damage done by your pet, be playing with 2 pets at the exact same time, or simply playing without a pet at all. The moment you reach level 90, you can pick this passive to generate you an additional charge of Dark Soul. In other words, you can now have 2 of these being casted in a row. There is going to be a 2 minutes recharge time, but having this on a shorter fight is going to be absolutely insane. The other solution is to pick this passive that allow you to be casting your Shatterbolt, Incinerate and Malefic Grasp as you're moving. I like to pick this talent when I'm PvPing as it makes my mobility so much better. I can simply just kite around, deal damage, and the moment they get close to me, I'll fear them or use another CC, and then continue to proceed. The last option is to pick this 1 minute cooldown. It will increase the damage done by your Seed of Corruption, Hellfire, Immolate Aura, and Rain of Fire by 100% for 10 seconds. And during those 10 seconds, the area of effect spells will also be increased by 500%. So I hope you enjoyed this class changing video. Let me know in a comment below this video what you're looking forward to the most about a Warlock in Mist of Pandaria. Soon I will also be publishing other class changing videos. And of course also other useful guides for this upcoming expansion. So make sure to subscribe if you would like to get notified when I post these. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace!